It's Neil here, the host of a Vietnam podcast, and thank you so much for listening to this show. As you probably know already, this is a show where I share stories of people connected to Vietnam from here in Vietnam and all over the world, and even more so as we're in season 10 now, I'm sharing more and more of my own story as I've now been here for over 8 years. Over the years of this podcast, since we started in 2019, we've dived deep into the heart and the soul of Vietnam's vibrant modern culture, and also what really makes it such a special and, shall we say, interesting place to be. It's been really exciting to see a vibrant in Vietnam recognised more and more on the world stage, none more so than people like Sarah Nguyen in New York with the Nguyen coffee supply, which has just gone from strength to strength since we interviewed her, and so many other Vietnamese people around the world being recognised for their achievements. As you probably know, Vietnam is so much more than the war, so much more going on, and part of this podcast is to share these stories, to show the real Vietnam. So I really hope that you've been loving these episodes, and if you want to dive deeper into our community of passionate listeners, then we have restarted our Patreon so that we can build a community of people, and we're calling that community the Bop Sao Dares. So if you want to become a Bop Sao Dare on Patreon, you can become part of something special. Not only will I be sharing exclusive behind the scenes content, giving you early access to episodes, we're going to look at having virtual and in-person hangouts, which we've done before, where we can chat about everything and anything you want, from the best spots to eat Cum Tam, is it true that the dirtier the restaurant, the better the food, where we can get cheap beer, good beer, craft beer, good cocktails, bad cocktails, and all the latest happenings in Saigon and across Vietnam. I want to give a massive thank you to Fiona and Adam Thompson, Tracy Wright, Dan Jones, Andrew Barry, and Brandon Thompson for being part of our community from the beginning. And these guys are now the coolest Bop Sao Dares that you can ever meet. So if you want to become as cool as them, you can choose a level that suits you. You can become a Cafe Suada, a Banh Mi, a Cum Tam, a Bun Tet Nung, or the ultimate level, you can become a Bop Sao Dare. So join these guys in our community, become a Bop Sao Dare today, join the fun with me, and let's explore Vietnam together like never before. So hit that link in the show notes and join my podcasting adventure of a Vietnam podcast today. Cheers. Yeah, having a piss. This to me is one of the biggest annoying things in Vietnam is, I don't know if collectively men can't hold their bladder, but they literally just piss everywhere. And so one of the things that I haven't done yet, Adrie's done it a couple of times, we're heading out right now to D1 to go and do the hop on hop off bus tour, which is pretty standard in most cities. It's quite new here in Saigon. I think it started like just a year ago, maybe 2 years ago. We've tried to time it to go for sunset. I'm not sure if we're going to make it. Well, we're going to make it in time for sunset. We decided to each take a bike tonight instead of doing a car. We've been in and out of taxis all day, so we wanted to do something different. But so yeah, the hop off bus, I'm pretty excited about it. I've never done it before. I don't think I've done it in any city before, maybe. And it's going to be really nice in Saigon at night. You can see all the lights, all the buildings. This is the third time that we've rebooked it. The first time we had to change it because it was pouring with rain. Then last time we were going to do it for the National Day holiday. But then we found out there were loads of road closures because of the National Day holiday, so we didn't think it was going to be worth it. And then tonight, third time's a charm. We're going to do that. So hop on, hop off bus. Even if you live here, you can do it. It's cool to be a tourist in your own city. That's why we love it when people visit, because we can be a tourist, but nobody's visiting. We're just going to do it ourselves. Yeah, having a piss. This to me is one of the biggest annoying things in Vietnam is, I don't know if collectively men can't hold their bladder, but they literally just piss everywhere. And anyone who lives here will tell you the same. It is often Grab drivers. They'll just piss like against the trees in the middle of the street. definitely seen full wang before when they're like they piss facing the street. It's weird, man. Like, well, there's no public toilets, which makes you realize the importance of public toilets. Like, you really do need them because people use them. But at the same time, like, if you're driving a bike all day and you need to have a piss, can you not go behind a bush or like go somewhere? Like, they don't even hide it; they're just by the side of the road. It's pretty disgusting. I mean, it's another reason why nobody walks in Vietnam, probably because it just smells of piss. To be honest, in places. It's just a really disgusting habit here, and not everyone has. Like, I bet this guy I'm on the bike with, I hope he doesn't do it. A lot of young people I speak to, they wouldn't do it. It's frowned upon here. It's not like everyone in Vietnam is like, yeah, let's piss on the side of the street. It's just pretty disgusting. Another amazing example of the development in Vietnam, this mall, this building is definitely less than a year old. This is the Tissot Mall. Has movie theatre in it, Fred Perry story, Equal, all of that. But yeah, like we said, when people come to visit, it's fun. We get to be a tourist again in our own city. And then obviously COVID put a massive stop to that, so we didn't have any visitors for the longest time. Before COVID, we had people visit like all the time. Like we had a couple of friends. Adrie had friends that she hadn't spoken to in years, basically. And they're like, hey, we're coming to Vietnam. I knew like some of my best friends came, my parents came. But since the lifting of COVID, like, and I think it shows that tourism hasn't fully recovered, there's not really been many of our friends that have visited. Not many people at all, to be honest. I don't know, Vietnam's become less of an attractive destination. Yeah, so the new bridge is like about a year old, so it is super new. And I was thinking to myself today, I wonder at what point, I don't know what other people call it, its official name is the 2TM2 bridge. I wonder if at some point I'll stop calling it the new bridge. It's always going to be the new bridge to me. It's probably going to be like 10, 15 years later, I'll still call it the new bridge. But again, it's part of the amazing development. So we were talking about it last night as well. We used to drive this way 8 years ago when they started chopping down these big, beautiful trees. And, you know, there was a bit of outrage, not just from expats, from locals as well, it was in the media. What were they going to do with these trees and why were they chopping them down? But then when you see what it's become, you're kind of like, unfortunately it makes sense because they had to chop it down to build a bridge, and that bridge has now changed the way that you can get into the city and how the city operates, and it's just way less crazy now. People honk less, as you can hear people honking, but it's still way less than it used to be. At the moment, as you can see, loads of people park their bikes on the bridge. You would never see that back home. It is super dangerous. It definitely blocks the traffic. And every now and again, you will see the police coming along and moving people, but not enough. It really shouldn't be allowed, but it does give you the best views of the city. So we do have pretty good timing for the hop on, hop off bus, as you see. It's just going, the sun's going down right now. And yeah, then the lights will come on in all the buildings. It'll be quite nice. This is what I was talking about. There used to be massive, beautiful big trees here. I don't know what type of trees, but really big, really tall. And unfortunately, they had to cut them all down to make room. But you can see, I mean, it's just the development of the city. That's just what happens. The city's changed so much. So we're going to be heading to Nguyen Hue Street, which is the walking street where we were last night. This street is just all opened up. It's all coffee shops now. It's pretty cool. And we're about to head on to Ton Duc Tang Street, which used to be like half this size. This bridge wasn't here. All of the waterfront was boarded up. You wouldn't even know the waterfront was there. It was probably pretty disgusting, I imagine. It's all going to be cleaned up now, as most major cities, once they start developing, do. So it's much nicer now. There's a park. This is where we watched the fireworks from last night. We're going through the Chung Hung Da roundabout. We got the new Hilton, there's the Vietcombank Tower, one of the major banks, one of the biggest buildings. This roundabout has just been redone, the statue is the same, but the park's been made really nice. The Hilton has just gone up, and we're going to pull up to Walking Street. If you've seen any of my previous videos, you'll see that we've been to Malt before. We did that on the podcast Pub Crawl, and we ended up there 2 nights ago as well. You may or may not have seen on the video. That's a famous malt there. Again, the whiskey distillery, bespoke tailors. This is one of the most expensive parts of Vietnam.
Hello.
This is Dong Coi Street, one of the richest streets in Saigon. Look, Nguyen owns this place here, the Vietnam House. This cafe is called Cadenat, which that used to be called Cadenat when it was the French ruled Vietnam. And then they got rid of, like, I think pretty much every French name and changed them to Vietnamese names. It's now called Dong Coi. And now Cadenat must have just had some fresh investment because they just have new coffee shops opening all over Saigon, like everywhere. And they're also really good coffee as well. So that's them clearing up from last night. Yeah, the concert for the fireworks, so it's a bit of a mess in there. But Nguyen Hue is one of the nicest streets in Saigon. When we got here 8 years ago, like, this was still a mess. They were still putting it together. I get impressed by small things. Like, I'm impressed just by making this flat. It's pretty crazy. It's pretty incredible. So we're here now. Come on. Come on. There you go. Bye-bye.
We are on Nguyen Hue Walking Street. We're about to go on the hop on, hop off bus, except at this hour of the day, it's just a hop on and stay on bus.
So this is the main street in the middle of Saigon. This used to be like a canal at one point. I think maybe a railway station as well. And then they repaved it, which, as I just mentioned, I think is a pretty big feat to have it like so flat. How long is it again? It's over 1 kilometer to the river down that way.
Is it?
Yeah, you get the top of Texco there. Then straight up here is like Lloyd Street, which has been closed for a few years because they were redoing it. They had to dig it up for the underground. Then this here is Saigon Center, which is a massive shopping mall with some really nice stores in it. As you can see here, that's Chanel. Next to it is Versace. This is the Rex Hotel, which has been here for like years. That's one of the nicest hotels in Saigon. And then you got the government building there, which is the Ho Chi Minh City People's Committee building, which is one of the only few French buildings that they didn't tear down. And so thank God, because it's a really beautiful building. So it's really cool. I think most of Asia, and Vietnam especially, they don't really come out during the day because it's bloody hot. And as soon as the sun goes down, they'll start to come out, whether you're in Moine on the beach or this walking street here will be dead during the day because there's no cover and it's so hot. And then at about 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, when the sun starts to come down, this place is just packed. And you come at night, there's loads of people with dogs, skateboarding, out and about and enjoying themselves. So it's pretty cool. And then we were obviously here last night and it was packed because they had a performance on for the National Day holiday. So we're going to get on our way soon. All right, so we are off on the hop on, hop off bus. And I got the tour guide in my ear, so I'll tell you what the tour guide is telling me. It says this is one of the most classical architecture works with a collection of Baroque architecture in Art Nouveau style. And what is that?
Others.
Among others. So yeah, I mean, that's far. It's like over 1 kilometer straight all the way to the river down there. It's already telling you to hop off if you want.
Well, I don't think they change it. They don't change it for the night.
No. Like, we've only just taken off and it's already like, if you want to get off on the next stop. So we're just passing the Ho Chi Minh City Museum, which I don't think we've ever been to, have we? So don't get that confused with the War Remnants Museum.
We did on our tourist day.
Oh yeah, we did one time.
It was underwhelming.
Yeah. So we're getting down Pasteur Street right now, which, as the guide told us, but I already knew this, it's named after Louis Pasteur. There's only about 7 streets in all of Saigon that have retained like the non-Vietnamese names, and it's people of significance. So like Louis Pasteur, so this is Pasteur Street. There's Yeltsin, what was he again? I forget. He was like a Russian scientist. A lot of scientists. Yeltsin.
I'm bad at remembering historic.
What are the 7 streets? We've done this as a quiz question. So. Yeah, I said that. Calmet. Who was Calmet?
Just can you ask one question at a time?
All right.
Calmet.
That's 3. I know this and I'm blanking now.
There's 7?
I think there's at least 7. We'll come back to you on that one. But
we'll let you know later on the tour.
Yeah. And now we're this is one of the most famous spots in Saigon. So this is basically where, that's the Independence Palace through here, which we've never actually been to. Mixed reviews of it. This street we're about to pass right now is where the tanks, the famous pictures of the tanks of the North rolled up this street here and knocked down the gates of that palace, and that signaled basically the North winning the war. So now we're going down Les Duan, which wasn't always called Les Duan. Les Duan was the name of like one of the generals from the Vietnam War. And we're about to pass the Notre Dame Cathedral as well, which is a bit of a shame. That's been under construction for like 5 years now or something like that. So it's covered in scaffolding, and it's one of the main things to come and see in Saigon, and it's pretty much nothing to see. Yeah, as you can see. So I remember when we first came to Saigon, this was one of the first places you come to. Not that, so that is the Vincom Mall, which again didn't exist when we came here.
No, it did. That was the only one.
Oh, that was the only one. That's right. Sorry, I got that wrong. But it was brand new, pretty much.
There wasn't a lot in there either.
No, now it's like Mango, Zara, H&M, Uniqlo. And then one of the other main two things to do is to check out this building here, which is the post office. And it's still a working post office. And because it's a tourist spot, the staff speak English. So anytime I need to send a letter, I would drive all the way into D1. I had to do it last week. I had to send a letter to the UK and went here to send it because I went to my local post office one time and it was so busy and so packed that I didn't do it. But this was one of the first places we came to. Your sister brought us to when we came to Saigon. So after a slow and sleepy 20 minutes just going through a city, one day. See, if this is the first time you've heard this song, yeah, it's kind of good, but when you've heard it 55 million times. But anyway, we're going past Bintan Market, which is due for a major redevelopment any day now. Get rid of all the hagglers, get rid of all the crap in there, and make it a proper market. We are now going down Ham Nhi Street, just good, a couple of good Western supermarkets, and then we got the Tony Stark Tower. So this is the famous Bitexco Tower, which apparently is super expensive to rent and is almost half empty because nobody can afford to rent in here.
Well, you used to have a mall at the bottom, and like there was a Top Shop. You know what? A Boots?
Yeah.
Maybe not. Maybe what?
I think it was a
couple
Boots,
other stores, like, but there was a Top Shop, which was like a draw, and I don't think anything is there anymore. There used to be a movie theater there as well. I don't know if it's still there.
Oh yeah, it was
the
terrible
worst
movie theater.
ever.
But so one of the funny things about Bitexco that I love is you can see that there's a helicopter pad. And we've actually been on that helicopter pad when we did the stair climb.
It's not for helicopters,
challenge.
it's for humans only.
Yeah. So apparently the helicopter pad was designed, added, and the idea was that CEOs would fly in from around. So the idea was that CEOs would fly in from around the world in their helicopter, land on the helicopter pad and go straight to their office, right? So they don't have to be like the plebs and get the lifts and the escalators. Now apparently there's a few problems. One is obviously Vietnam is a communist country and the airspace is very restrictive, so I don't think I've ever seen a commercial helicopter flying in Saigon. I've seen a military helicopter flying once or twice, remember when they were doing exercises. Never seen a commercial helicopter flying, and apparently...
To the cost?
Well, that...
People maybe nowadays could afford it, but like when it was built like 10, 12 years ago, I don't, maybe like 0.1% of the Vietnamese population could afford a helicopter.
But the best thing is, I left the best to last, is apparently they didn't take into account the wind that having a high up building, a high up like crosswinds, that's the word I'm looking for. They didn't take into account the crosswinds, and so it's actually unsafe for a helicopter to land on, and so therefore 0 helicopters have ever landed on that helicopter pad. And a few years ago I checked their website and it says like still under construction or something.
One day. A helicopter will land.
Yeah, one day. But this is also known as the Avengers Tower because it does really look like the Avengers Tower.
There's an Adidas shop in there.
Oh.
Can I buy your shoes there?
So now we are heading towards what is called the canal, which a lot of people call the river. It is a canal. We're passing the ugliest building, the bane of my existence, that is never going to be finished up here. They put some lights on it to tart it up, make it look nice, but it's still not going to be finished. So this is the definition, I think, of window dressing. That building is never going to be finished. It's been 8 years and nothing has changed. We're back onto the riverfront. So this is an actual river. Behind us, what I was trying to say is it's a canal. It's the blackest, disgustingest water you've ever seen in your life, but it's there. Apparently this was the old opium exchange, so there's like, you won't be able to see here, but there's like little opium seeds in the building. And yeah, I mean, when the opium trade was legal and thriving, this was where they did that stuff. We're back on the water. We're at the other end now of Nguyen Hue Walking Street. You can see how far it is. So right at the very end is the, what do you call it? Ho Chi Minh City People's Committee building. So Adrie, what is your favourite part of the hop-on, hop-off bus tour?
I have a favorite part. I just think it's cool. Like,
No, it is cool. So
I think, okay, so my favorite aspect, maybe not part of the tour. I understood that to mean like each 5-minute section do you like best. No. What I like about it is that when you travel in Saigon, you're either usually in a taxi, so you're in a covered car and you can't see out apart from the windows, or you're on a motorbike, which is the best way to experience the city. But like where you are on a motorbike is very low, and most of what you're looking at is just like the things that are around you, so like the shop fronts and the other bikes and the other traffic and stuff. When you're on the bus, the open top bus, you're above all that. You're like on the second floor, so you're looking at the city from like a slightly different perspective. You're not getting distracted by all of that like crazy. It's still there, but we're not bothered by it, right? Like you're looking at this, you're looking at the buildings, chill. You're looking at the lights. It's really chill. It's just a different perspective. I would recommend anyone do it. That's it.
Well, I think it was Adrie's idea that we do it at sunset, and I think that's been a great idea. Because yeah, you get the two different perspectives. We saw the sun go down, everything was in daylight, and then now all the lights come on. Chung Hung Dao comes out. Like the buildings light up. It's cool. So yeah, I would definitely recommend, if you're in Saigon and you have an hour, even if you live here, jump on the hop-on. I keep saying this wrong. The hop-on, hop-off bus tour.
Yeah, I've never done it during the day. After 4 p.m. it's a 1-hour loop. During the day you get typical hop-on, hop-off privileges. Where you hop.
Oh, just like Reagan. You hop on, you hop off. Oh, poor Reagan.
Hột gà nướng, hột vịt lộn, hột vịt sữa, trứng cút lộn, bất xào đây.
Hey, this is Neil Mackay, your host of a Vietnam podcast. Now, before we get started on this episode, I wanted to share with you about one of my favorite affiliate partners, and that is Fiverr. I've been using Fiverr for years for everything from ordering YouTube thumbnails to keyword research, writing podcast articles, even to Canva designs and thumbnails and more. So whether you're a budding entrepreneur, a podcaster, or anyone in between, Fiverr has got you covered. It really is the go-to platform if you want to find freelancers offering a massive range of services to help you on any project. Maybe you need a stunning new logo or just a short animation, whatever you need, you can find it on Fiverr. What I love the most is how easy Fiverr makes it to connect with talented freelancers from around the world, all at prices that will fit whatever your budget is. Plus, with Fiverr's secure payment system, you can trust that your transactions are safe and secure. No dodgy people you meet on Facebook groups that disappear with your money and never give you what you want. What, that's only happened to me? As an affiliate partner, I will get a small commission if you use the link and at no extra cost to you. As an affiliate partner, I will get a small commission if you click my link and you buy something, all at no extra cost to you. And best of all, you will be directly supporting the making of this podcast that you're listening to for free, but it is not free to make. So why wait? Head over to somewhere that you've probably never been before. It's called the show notes. So whatever app you're listening in, if it's Spotify or Apple Podcasts or anything at all, head to the show notes, click on my special link, and then you can browse thousands of gigs ready to help you with your next project. And now, let's dive into today's episode. Let's go.